Coming up, the homeless crisis and cost of living pressures affecting Ipswich families. The Salvation Army's Ashley Bierman joins the show to discuss the current situation and the recent spate of thefts of donations from the West Ipswich Family Store. It's Sunday, October 15, 2023, and I'm Alan Roebuck. Welcome to episode 300 of Ipswich Today, which proudly acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which it is produced and pays respects to elders past, present and emerging. This podcast is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. My guest today is Ashley Bierman, who heads up Ipswich operations of the Salvation Army based in South Street. He's told me it's clear that increased everyday living expenses are soaring, which in turn explains the significantly higher demands on the Salvos support in our community. Then there's the issue at the Salvos Family Store in West Ipswich on Sundays when people leave donations and others come and steal those very same donations. Thanks for speaking with Ipswich Today, Ashley Bierman.
Look, it's a great pleasure, Alan. Really looking forward to a chat this morning.
Mortgage stress and homelessness is constantly in the news. In your experience, is this the worst homeless crisis you've seen in living memory?
Look, I think probably the way that I look at it is that I look at it over the time that I've been in Ipswich here and think in my time here, when we first came into Ipswich, there was a breakfast that was for the disenfranchised, the homeless, that was running here, but it only had 2 people coming to it. And so it didn't seem to be meeting the need because it was actually people who were housed and homed that were coming along. They were coming for company because of loneliness. And so we made changes to that. Now, 5 years on, down in the middle of Ipswich, in community, do a great breakfast 3 days a week and open to the homeless and to anybody else who has a need. Goodness, 20, 25 people, there's plenty there. Things have changed in the last 5 years quite significantly.
Yes, well, that is a significant increase from 2. Do you have any estimate of the number of homeless across Ipswich now?
Look, I think across Ipswich, the only sort of figures that we can draw on that are verified are the ABS figures back in 2021. For your inner Ipswich area around here, they recorded around about 500. Greater Ipswich, probably around 1,500. Certainly what they're saying is that this has increased significantly. But again, it's a matter of just looking out into the community, and we do see that pressure across there. Lots of pressure for people, both in housing and then rentals increasing, and that has been putting pressure on families and individuals, and I think it's resulting in increased homelessness.
And it's not hard to see driving around Ipswich now, the physical evidence. Even just to drive along East Street, you'd have to be wearing blinkers not to notice people setting up camp there. You touched on the families under rental and mortgage stress.
Yes.
Do you have a number? Is that a bit difficult to pin down?
Look, that one just for the Ipswich area is a little bit hard to pin down. However, I think what we're finding in, say, a generalised area with Ipswich and Toowoomba areas, and that's certainly under great stress, is that a lot of people are stressed about rent. Now, I did go up searching to see if there had been anything published recently, and they're saying a staggering 57.5% of Queenslanders are suffering rental stress right now. That's significant.
What are people coming to you now and asking for?
When they come in, I think we're finding that we are now receiving people who are working. They have a significant gap between their outgoings and incomings, and they're needing support. We don't turn people away who are in that circumstance that they need support, so we're helping them out. And we're very thankful for the fact that we can be in that place for emergency relief. But then as the waves of bills come in for people, whether it be registration for their motor vehicles, whether it be any other annual sort of bill that may come through for them, it's creating significant stress, as you can imagine, when it's already a stress to meet those costs of rent.
Has this list changed over the years? I'm thinking around the time of COVID, like before COVID and since COVID, because COVID hasn't disappeared. What were people asking for 5 years ago when you came to Ipswich?
Look, it was very different. There was still people who are under stress on a weekly basis. Often it would be somebody who was on a set government income, and within that area, it may be food, it may be a need for meeting a bill that had come along, but it really has seemed to spread from there in the more recent years that there is just significant costs around that sort of rental area and mortgage and that are just creating additional stresses for when these large bills come along.
Ashley, you were in the news recently, a story regarding donated goods to the Salvation Army being stolen by people that come along just a few hours later and knock it off. What was the situation there? It was in West Ipswich, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was over in West Ipswich. And look, what we have is the store is open 6 days a week and we're able to receive goods on those 6 days. And of course, this is on the seventh day when we are actually closed. We have signage saying, please don't drop goods off. Because what happens, people drop goods off, and then it seems that there is a myriad of people who desire to come through, often not those that are in the most need. It can be those that just are looking for an opportunity to get something that maybe can improve their circumstance slightly. But what happens is that people also go through what's there and it ends up on the ground and it ends up being unable to be sold. And so it ends up in the bin. And it's because of that we just see it as such a great waste of what is great intention from the community, and we have such good response from the community to help us in this area of reselling of donated goods. It's just such a waste to see it put into the bin.
So the word is, if you want to donate to the West Ipswich store, don't do it on a Sunday, otherwise it could end up being damaged or stolen.
That's it.
Has there been anyone arrested and charged over the recent thefts?
Look, at this stage, no. There hasn't been any charges or any arrested at this stage.
On the donation front, Ashley, what items are you currently in need of?
Look, I think as we come up to Christmas, we're actually, from our point of view, any donated non-perishable goods will be extremely handy for the community. We are hoping to, again, support the community in the area of looking after the children that may miss out at the end of year. And so we have the amazing Ulysses Toy Run that provides a lot of children's toys. And look, in that area, we always and we always call out later in the year, if there is anybody that would like to donate gift cards at all for the teens, feel welcome. We end up having around about 450 to 500 children that are supported at the end of the year.
Apart from the West Ipswich store, which we've just talked about, are there any other points across Ipswich people can physically bring stuff into you, or i.e. the gift cards or actual goods?
Yes, so the non-perishable goods and the gift cards can certainly come to our site, 62 South Street.
More power to you, Ashley Bierman and the Salvation Army. Thank you so much for speaking with Ipswich Today.
Bless you so much. Thank you so much, Alan.
Don't forget to look for handy links in the show notes. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. This podcast is listener supported. Please make a once-only gift or regular donation to help keep it online. Just go to ipswichtoday.com.au. Follow and stream this podcast from your favourite app, including iHeartRadio, or play Ipswich Today on smart speakers. Music is supplied by Purple Planet Music. This is Alan Roebuck. Thank you for listening.